Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel. And this is my performance review of the Adidas D Rose 1.5 Restomod. So Adidas has Restomodded the D Rose 1.5. I mean, it's been like, what, 10 years since this shoe came out. This shoe is going for 150 bucks. So if you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave an affiliate link in the description box. But let's get it started off with the Tracciones. And we got some pods here in the forefoot. So we have a circular pod here where the ball of your foot is, here on the lateral side, and here where like your big toe is, right? And then here in the heel, we have the Adidas 3 stripes, and it's like a circle pattern that kind of circles out on itself. So as far as the performance goes, on a clean court, it should be fine. It has a pretty good bite. I wouldn't say it's top tier, like comparing to like the Curry 8, Curry 9, KD 14, MB1. Like those have really, really good bites. The D Rose 1.5, it has a good bite, but it's not like top tier. But as far as dust goes, it's terrible. I was playing on a dusty court and I freaking hated playing in the shoe, guys, right? So I was testing this. I was testing the Harden Volume 6 as well as the Zoom Separate. The Zoom Separate and the Harden Volume 6, I'm pointing down there because the shoes are, they're right here. But anyways, yeah, so I was playing in these and I was like, yo, the traction's really good. And I guess I thought it wasn't a dirty court. And then I switched to these and then I was sliding all over the damn place. And even when I was like wiping the shoe, it picks up dust really, really quickly. So yeah, I really hated playing in it. I was sliding around, I could not get a good bite. Crossovers, doing step backs, you know, doing pull-ups, and just sliding around everywhere. So yeah, if you're playing on a dusty court, do not get this shoe, right? Very, very bad performance on a dusty setting. As far as outdoor use goes, you should be fine. I mean, the rubber is pretty damn hard. As far as the rubber goes here in the pods though, I mean, the grooves don't seem that deep though. The grooves are also thin. So I feel like you should be okay playing on an outdoor court. It's probably not the best option, but you should be okay, right? So yeah, since I play on a dusty court a lot of the time, I hated it. When I was playing on a clean court, it was fine, but then yeah, dusty setting, I did not want to play in the shoe. So there is a traction there. As far as the heel to toe transition goes, it's pretty smooth, right? So here in the heel, we have a pretty curved shape, and the midsole is pretty much fully exposed, although it's like a really thin midsole, which we'll get into. So here in the heel, it feels pretty damn nice, and then in the forefoot, it feels very nice as well. You know, you have a nice curved shape, and we have, look at that, a lot of forefoot flex. Of course, we do have this sprint frame, right? And it's pretty much a midfoot shank plate and kind of comes up here to act as an external TPU heel counter. So that does reinforce the rigidity of the overall sole of the shoe, which gives you good torsional support. But the overall heel to toe transition is very, very smooth and feels nice. All right, moving on to the cushioning setup. So that's the one thing that they changed. It is a Restomod. So they did upgrade kind of like tech in the shoe from the previous version. So the previous version, if I remember correctly, they used like an adiprene or like an EVA midsole. Here in the Restomod, we have full length Lightstrike, which feels pretty nice, right? So court feel surprised me. It's super freaking low to the ground. Pretty much the same as the Harden Volume 6, right? And the Harden Volume 6, it just Hardens in general have very, very good court feel. Same thing with the D Rose 1.5, like you're right on top of the ground. Here in the forefoot, you guys can basically see how thick the cushion is, right? It's just super thin. So even though it is Lightstrike, there's not a whole lot of cushion, right? So if you're doing hard impact landings, especially heel strikes, you're gonna feel it a little bit, right? I wouldn't say it's terrible, just because Lightstrike is nice, but then it wasn't great, right? So if you need good impact protection, like a lot, try another shoe, like the Zoom GT Jump, for example, which is super nice. The D Rose 1.5, I would say is not the best option, right? As far as bounce goes, also it's not super bouncy. I mean, you can feel the bounce a little bit from the Lightstrike, like from the actual midsole. But then as far as the step and comfort goes, there's really no step and comfort. You don't really feel the cushion underneath your foot really at all, right? So for the insole is not that nice. You know, we have a paper stock Adidas insole. I don't know what it is with Adidas. They just don't like giving us nice insoles. You know what I mean? Like, for example, in the Mellow MB1, it's a nice, thick Ortholite insole and improves a step and comfort a lot. The Adidas ones like this, the Harden Volume 6 is just a really thin insole. Anyways, yeah, so that doesn't feel very nice, right? And then you look underneath that, the strobo board is kind of stiff. But also, I feel like even if the strobo board was soft, you probably wouldn't feel the Lightstrike all too much just because of how thin they made the midsole, right? So if you want pure responsiveness with I mean, as far as the impact protection goes, it's really nice for how low to the ground you are, right? but overall it's not that nice. But if you want a very low to the ground feel with pure responsiveness, then this is a great cushioning setup. As far as the overall cushioning setup goes, I didn't really mind it all too much. You know, I do like a low to the ground feel that feels very responsive, right? So I liked it, but it wasn't amazing. For example, an amazing cushioning setup, zoom separate, good compression here in the heel, nice little bounce here in the forefoot. The Harden Volume 6 also, I liked it. You know, it's a lot softer, I would say. There's good heel compression as well, like underneath your foot and stuff like that. So comparing to like other shoes, it's not the best, but it gets the job done. All right, moving on to the materials. So the materials, not the best for quality, honestly. Like this patent leather, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of patent leather just because it creases like crazy, guys. And you play with it literally just one day and there's a lot of creases on it, right? And it scuffs pretty easily as well, which you can clean off, but just annoying to do, you know? But, you know, as far as how it feels on foot, it feels pretty nice, you know? It's very thin, as you guys can see. And it feels pretty damn minimal as well. I was actually very surprised. And the sprint skin as well. So they bring back sprint skin. It's kind of like a rubberized kind of plastic material here on the lateral side. And around these triangular shapes, we have little cuts of suede. And on the medial side, it's pretty much all suede, right? So it feels very supportive. And I was surprised to feel like no pinching. Like maybe a little bit here where like the shoe kind of bends on top of your foot, but definitely not as bad as like the Harden Volume 1. You guys remember this? Like there's a lot of pinching on top of your foot, right? Like I said, there is a little bit of pinching, like you feel it on top of your foot, but it doesn't hurt. You know, you just feel it a little bit, that's it. So I had no issues with that. And as far as the tongue goes, the tongue is very minimal, really no padding at all. And then like kind of in the middle of the tongue, we have some mesh. And one thing I hate about the construction of the tongue is that old school shoes, they have independent tongues, meaning like it's not connected to a material that goes underneath this upper, right? So for example, in modern shoes like the Zoom Separate, this is all one piece as far as the tongue goes. And in the Harden Volume 6, we have a half booty construction tongue. So it keeps the damn tongue in place, right? And I really had no problems with D Rose, the 1.5 kind of like moving around. Like some shoes, they kind of move around, right? But D Rose 1.5 doesn't move around all too much just because the laces go through kind of like an eyelet inside of the tongue, right in the middle of the tongue. So that kind of keeps it in place. So I had no problems with that. But a lot of the time when I was putting the shoe on and lacing it up, the tongue would fold in on itself a little bit like this, like especially kind of like in the midfoot area. So I would constantly have to like fix it and stuff and like put my finger in there, try to like flatten it out. So that was kind of annoying. You know, I definitely do wish they would have fixed that, you know, make it like a half booty construction tongue, but it's kind of minor and you can fix it before you play. It doesn't really affect performance all too much. It's just kind of like something that was annoying to me. And then here in the heel, there's pretty minimal padding as well. I mean, like on the sides where the like your ankle bone is, it has a little bit of padding, but for the most part, like it's not that much, right? So the overall material for 150 bucks, yeah, the quality isn't great, but on foot, I really didn't mind it all too much. It felt comfortable. It conformed to my foot pretty damn well. All right, moving on to the fit. I went true to size and it fits me very well, right? So lengthwise, I was good to go. My toes pretty much go right to the edge of the shoe. Widthwise, I would say it's a little narrow. And then as far as the toe box goes, it's quite snug. I can curl my toes up a little bit, you know, but it's still a nice snug fit for me. So the overall fit, very nice. So if you want a little bit more room or you have a wide foot, you should probably go up half a size. All right, as far as support in lockdown goes, I mean, it was D Rose and he was playing in the shoe. He needs a lot of support, a lot of lockdown, right? So as far as lateral containment goes, it was really good. So here in the forefoot, we have a little bit of the foam coming out acting as a sidewall, but also the sprint skin is super supportive. So yeah, I had no problems here in the forefoot, and here in the heel, we have this external TPU heel counter, which is basically just a sprint frame. So lateral containment, you're good to go. You're gonna be fine, right? It's just your foot's not going anywhere. As far as lateral stability goes, I really had no issues with it. It's not the widest shoe actually. Let's compare it to like a modern Adidas shoe. Let's see, yeah. So the Hardens seem like it's a little bit wider, as you guys can see, right? Like modern shoes, modern Adidas shoes actually are pretty damn wide. And then if you look at kind of like older shoes, they're a little bit narrower, right? But anyways, lateral stability, I really had no issues with. Ankle support sucks. It's not good really at all. I mean, I don't know what it is with this material, but it's like super flimsy, and it doesn't really offer all too much ankle support. Like I still had good ankle mobility, so I feel like they should have just made it a low, you know what I mean? But anyways, so as far as the support and lockdown goes, really, really good besides the ankle support. I also really didn't have any issues with heel slippage. You know, older Adidas shoes, I remember like back in the day, I did have some issues with heel slippage, but it was fine with me here in the D Rose 1.5. All right, as far as the weight goes, I feel like it'll be like average weight, right? 12? Yeah, 12.52. That's actually average. And the average weight of my shoes is 12.5 ounces. Yeah, 12.59 ounces. So yeah, it actually surprised me because I thought it'd be a little bit heavier because it's using like old school materials, and it looks like it'll be heavy, you know what I mean? But 12.5 ounces, average weight. But as far as responsiveness goes, I did not feel responsive at all, guys. I mean, the traction was just so damn bad. Like, I was like, yo, I can't play in this, you know what I mean? When I was playing on a clean court though, I really had no issues. You know, low to ground feel, traction was pretty good. And it was a very supportive shoe. But when I was playing on a dusty court, I hated it. So there's that. As far as the ventilation goes, yeah, no ventilation through this material at all. I guess besides the mesh material in the tongue a little bit. But yeah, this shoe is freaking hot. So ventilation is not good. Moving on to the aesthetics, I love it. You know, especially this. I don't know what it is with the old school Adidas shoes, but I freaking love this look. You know what I mean? And yeah, just the overall silhouette, it's iconic, this shoe. So yeah, I love the way this shoe looks, and also kind of like the white patent leather here in the toe box. Although I hate how it creases, it looks awesome. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, the D Rose 1.5. If you're playing on an absolutely clean court, should be fine. It's definitely not my favorite shoe. I mean, the cushioning could be better. Although I guess it is an upgrade from Adidas, right? And then the materials could be better quality, and I guess it could be a little bit kind of like more minimal, just because, or I guess like softer feeling, just because the suede and sprint skin isn't like the softest material, but it's still like, it wasn't a huge deal, right? There are some things that I would improve with this shoe, and I definitely would have recommended for 150 bucks. But I mean, it's like a nostalgic shoe, and if you want to get it, you should be fine. You know, it's a good performer. Just make sure you're playing on a clean court. So anyways, that about wraps it up for my performance review of the D Rose 1.5 Restomod. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave an affiliate link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.